Hey guys, welcome
Hey,
to episode.
everyone.
It's it, people.
Welcome to episode 10 of the INSOMNIACS podcast. We're gonna be talking about some serious shit today, though. Seriously, probably not doing the sports intro like normal, like we usually do. Actually, this podcast was sprung from another podcast that did a little segment on our friends over at Apple that we all love and cherish at these times right now. And we found out some totally sick shit. And not
Some
sick as in
fucked
cool.
up shit, dude.
Sick as in queasy, make you nauseated, make you want to like revolt against your government, and all corporations kind of sick.
Just make you feel bad.
So first we want to introduce you to this city called Shenzhen. And since we have an Asian correspondent, Christopher Yajitadchek over here, a.k.a. MiniGuy619 on Twitter, we'll have him read a little bit about Shenzhen, since he doesn't really know that much about it.
I don't know
Either.
so
Well,
much.
first, I want to ask Minnie, had you ever heard of Shenzhen before today?
Nope.
And I hadn't before that podcast.
I had not. Yesterday after work, after listening to the podcast that we
Are
are talking about, it's from This American Life, and it was the
Mr. Daisy and the Apple Factory episode, if you guys want to look it up.
Yeah, and it was talking about it was about him visiting one of the factories in the city of Shenzhen, which is in China. It's the third largest city in China, and nobody's heard of it. After listening to it, I went to work. Nobody at my work had ever heard of Shenzhen. My mom, who's lived in this country for, she's in her
Forever,
50s,
right?
has never heard of Shenzhen. This place is bigger than New York City.
It's insane.
It's a $30 billion foreign investment. Yage, how about you? We'll just talk a little bit about what was down here at the bottom that we wanted to see. Oh, I just clicked. Like, I fucking totally just...
May not be able to pronounce some of these properly, but just want to let the people know that no
I just want
to my lack of
well, yeah,
pronunciation
it's okay.
skills in the,
We're not
Chinese
not
language.
from Asia or anything, or like over there. We're totally
Man.
whitewashed Americans. I wanted to read exactly at the point when it became like that, but it doesn't have it here on Wikipedia.
What, you mean its background before? Like,
Well, I know. I wanted to know
from
what year
normal.
all of a sudden that it became this crazy manufacturing.
Dude, I thought that
like
I can
dynasty. Like what? Because this city was obviously not just the third highest economic city in China. All of a sudden,
No.
Dude,
Dude,
I think it's in the 70s.
Since the late 70s, and especially since the... Okay,
right
so it
here,
was in the
right here,
70s.
right
Yeah,
here. Read
okay.
that shit, Yage. Right there.
What?
During the 1980s, the PRC passed several stages, ranging from the establishment of special economic zones and open coastal cities and areas, and designing open inland and
Coastal
economic and technology development zones.
Yeah. So basically, in the 1980s, this shit started. So not even 40 fucking years ago did they start opening up these economic zones, which are basically cities that are just factories
And
For
it's
American
slave
for
labor.
American products or in products around the world.
Yeah.
Clothes, fucking electronics. Specifically, Shenzhen, what we're talking about is basically mostly electronics, right? Or do they have other things there?
It's mostly like Apple. Like, okay,
Mostly Apple, wow.
the company in particular, the factory in particular
Foxconn.
that he went to was Foxconn in Shenzhen.
Which electronics...
And it's for Apple. They were making the iPods, the iPads, mostly the iPhones,
MacBooks,
though.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Well, right now, because they're in demand, so they
And
have them fucking working.
this
there.
one factory has over 400,000 workers in it. And
493,000 workers. Over 493,000 workers.
they get paid 29 cents an hour.
12 committed suicide last year. 12 jumped off buildings, so they put in fucking nets.
Yes,
They put in
there
nets.
are
That was their-
suicide
that was
nets
their
around the building.
response
And
to
even
suicides,
yesterday
fucking
on the news, I saw the story. There were 300 protesters on the roof threatening to kill themselves at Foxconn.
Holy fuck!
And they work about 70 hours a week at least.
No, do you know what the
That's
scariest
fucked
part about
up.
this whole thing is? How fucking secret it is to everybody else.
Exactly.
To all the people who own this shit, they're probably like, I didn't even fucking have a single clue this was happening. Just like the guy in that other podcast, he was probably like, well, I thought it was made by fucking robots.
Yep.
I thought it was like a machine making my shit. You know? That's what you would normally think. I mean, in a society that we live in today where things are ran by technology, you would obviously think, because cars are made by robots, fucking everything's made by goddamn robots, why wouldn't our fucking, this shit be run by robots? Oh, why not? Why not? Because we're greedy as fuck, and they wanted to make just a little bit of a percentage more, so they ruined fucking people's lives, and made them fucking slaves to this place. Disintegrating their fucking joints of their hands while they're fucking... They work there for so long, so continuously, that these people, their joints in their hands disintegrate.
Scrolling. Oh, shit. I was just going to show the list of...
Isn't it
economic zones?
Yeah, right.
It was like
Isn't it more like a prison, don't you think? The
factory? Well, no, dude, it's worse than prison.
Well, the workers live there.
It's worse than prison because in prison, like, you can get out.
Well, the thing
in these places, they get you so fucking scared. There's guys with fucking guns. They tell you fucking you can't even talk or you don't get paid. There's like not that many jobs for them. The only jobs they have are those fucking jobs that they get.
Work in the rice fields.
Right. So they fucking sit there 16-hour work days and they don't get fucking smoke breaks. They don't get fucking they don't get to go take a piss. Breaks. They don't get to go take a piss. They have to shit themselves or piss themselves while they're sitting there. If they need to relieve themselves, they can't even get the fuck up. And I saw pictures of the dorms, and it looks like fucking chicken coops for people.
Dude,
they
stack
them, dude.
In a 12 by 12 cement cubicle. You fit 15 beds in there, and everybody has to cram in there.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like in a day and age now, where we have like this fluidity of information going from each other, person to person, and it's all out there on the internet because there's this, like, global consciousness right now. How the fuck did this slip by people? Like, I understand there are Chinese people who make stuff, like clothes and Nike shoes and shit like that. You know, the old cliche Nike shoe joke.
Yep.
But I didn't realize that there was so fucking many doing it. I thought if they did it by hand, they did shit like, oh, put the plastic on it or something at the end.
Something.
Not every little fucking piece in there. They're like fucking engineers in there. And they're these little kids that know how to build these fucking exquisite devices.
They found a lot of underage kids. They're like kids at like 12
and they can
13.
build sections of these fucking crazy ass devices that we can't even fathom what. Like, if you open this up, do you know what the fuck you see in here?
Fuck no.
If you open up an iPhone or something, do you know Do you know what it looks like besides what you fucking see whenever you play with the fucking thing? You don't even know what it looks like behind a fucking laptop screen. And all these Chinese people, they spend fucking all this time fucking...
And see, what Apple does is their company goes in there and they make a deal with the Chinese government and they create these special economic zones where they're allowed to have these slave laborers. These slave labor factories.
We can say it. They're slaves.
They are.
Yes.
They're slaves.
It sucks, dude.
They barely get paid shit.
You can look
they
it
get
up
fucking
on
tortured,
Wikipedia.
basically.
There's like a list of like, here's 13 right here, and then it says, in addition, there are 15 free trade zones, 32 state-level economic and technological development zones, and 53 new and high-tech industrial development zones that have been established in large and medium-sized cities. And as a result, a multi-level diversified pattern of opening and integrating coastal areas with river, border, and inland areas has been formed in China.
So basically, they just build these factory cities, and Shanghai's fucking one of them.
Wow.
Shanghai's fucking one of them. And that's a huge fucking city. And what's crazy is if you see pictures of these buildings, you're like, holy fuck, these things are massive, dude. Massive.
And on the very first Wikipedia page of Shenzhen, it says, oh, this is one of the most successful ones that have been created.
Yeah, Shenzhen's what, like the third highest fucking economy, right? Or something like that in China.
Yeah.
Look, Shenzhen is now reputedly considered as one of the fastest growing fucking cities in the world. And this is why China is like passing everybody in the economic fucking polls, right? Is that right? Because they open up all these cities that basically they print money from.
Yeah, but see, that's like on ESPN just this week. By chance, I saw on one of those outside the lines or the E60, those special
Yep.
reports they do. It was about all. It was specifically it was about the Dallas Cowboys, like where all the Dallas Cowboys merchandise comes from, and it's from these same kind of places in Cambodia, where these
Really?
people are working. in
Cambodia,
slave labor.
too.
Yes.
Jesus, dude, we need to get
strictly
the-
Cowboys gear?
No,
Or-
Nike, Sony, Adidas, all the stuff like I'm wearing right
Pretty
now.
much all the stuff we wear, man.
we're wearing. These
Dude,
Comes from
I've
the
been
same-
from this. I'm convinced that everything we own is made by some little Chinese kid.
I mean,
I would
in
have to
China,
agree.
it's all these electronics. I mean, we're surrounded
Dude,
by it.
they have most of the world's fucking people there.
And
What
yet,
what the fuck?
What
What
are
the
they-
fuck?
What are they gonna?
Is this an agreement between the governments? Is this communist China
No.
allowing America to come in and just take over sections of their country?
listen to this. So I go to work and I'm asking, and nobody at my work has even heard of this place. And so then I asked my mom, and my mom she works at Chula Vista Adult School, and we're
Right,
down
right.
here right by the board of the cheese, and she goes, "Well, what do you think goes on right over there?" It's the
Right.
same thing,
Right, Mexico.
She,
yeah.
and she has
Except Mexico's
students-
more fucked up because it's
No,
ran by drug cartels.
Yeah, but she has students that have like their husbands are Chinese business owners in TJ.
What the fuck? So these Chinese
And
people
we're just-
open up their
We're just
corporations in
completely
Mexico?
surrounded
We're
about
so
it.
fucked.
And she's
We're
saying
so fucked,
but my
dude.
mom even said, she's like, yeah, but what are you gonna do about it?
We can't do shit about it. We can only just sit here and fucking talk about it, let people know about it, and hopefully it spreads out to a widespread enough
Until
amount of
it
people
becomes-
that we fucking all say, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, I posted a thing on Facebook specifically today, like, a nice little rant about how fucking, about this. Just a short little rant about this. And at the end, I was like, can you seriously be okay with that? Can we seriously just sit here? We, like, millions and
Dude,
millions and millions of people
the-
use these devices. Everybody in the world uses these devices.
And here's the sick, cruel
And we're all
irony
okay
of
with it.
The sick, cruel irony of it is that they produce all of these, and yet there's no iPads or iPhones in China.
Yeah.
They can't afford them. They don't
even-
have
afford
them.
them.
They don't even
Well,
distribute
it's
to
just
them.
like,
They all get exported here. Well, and probably to Europe.
I
Are
would
they?
assume.
The
Yeah,
Europe
and I mean
has that
Japan
shit.
is big on
Japan
Apple products, right?
Japan has a bunch of shit.
All the
But what I was about to
Western
say
society is
That's China in that aspect is similar to a lot of other countries actually because I watch a lot of Anthony Bourdain No Reservations
I love that
shows,
show, dude.
and there's a couple of places he goes. I can't name specifically because I don't remember. And he goes there, and there's actual stores that are set up to be, let's just say, Cuban-esque, but the Cubans can't afford to fucking eat there or go there and buy shit. It's only for people like Americans who go there and buy shit. It's like, that's what China is. It's a fucking place where they make all this shit, but they can't buy it because they can't afford it. So the only people they sell it to is the people out of country, like the people that aren't from there, because they can't afford it. Because China and China. What's weird is that China's the high economy in the world, and they can't. And the people, their people can't afford that. Like I don't understand.
Like shit, dude.
I don't understand why. In this day and age where people are so religious and everybody's supposed to love each other and all this shit, that we allow this kind of crap to still happen.
It's as if after we had our civil war and said, okay, we can't have slaves in this country. We decided
Let's just have slaves in another country.
We're just gonna enslave the rest of the world.
And that's when Team America World Police got born. Not the movie, but the real Team America World Police. I'm convinced that...
It's like we're living in a fucking movie.
Yeah. Joe
It
Rogan
is.
says that often.
I know.
We live in a fucking movie. And I was going to send him a tweet yesterday that said... Because he said, I hope aliens come and save us before this fucking crazy collapse. And I was going to send him a tweet that said... If aliens do come and save us, then all the scenarios you've been saying about how the world and life is like a movie would be completely true. You would have like every aspect. You'd have the action aspect, sci-fi now because we got fucking aliens and
Yeah, but who are
It's
they
just
gonna
fucking
fucking
nuts.
save? What, they're gonna save us who consume
they're not
all
going to
this
save us.
shit?
Dude, the thing is if aliens or any kind of outside source, God or any of that kind of shit, could save us from making ourselves extinct, they would have already tried to help us.
So we're pretty much fucked.
Like we have to pull ourselves out of this shit, and we have to realize that we're not just the only fucking things on this planet.
I know.
Like we need to stop caring about money so that we can go to resources that'll last, resources that'll fucking be able to fucking, so that we can have this many people that we have on the planet. All the resources we use.
Here's the thing: these companies, they make billions and billions of
Dude,
dollars.
They run the world.
Why couldn't they just give these people enough to just like live on their own? Like, why not? Like, why couldn't we all be prosperous?
Because greed, man. Because greed.
I know,
greed sucks.
Greed and excessive power. When you give somebody power, taking power
so
away
much,
from
though.
that person is like, you better do it out of my cold dead hands, because you're not gonna fucking take the power away from me. And they get so insecure about losing the money that they fucking have to make an exponential amount of it to maintain their lifestyle.
It's all business, Nick, dude. I mean, like
they tell us with Steve Jobs, he followed his business down to a T, right? That's what he did every day his whole life. So there's no way he couldn't have known about it.
Of course he knew about this.
I mean,
despite the fact that he's a genius and everything he did was like fucking absolutely technologically groundbreaking. Everything he did. But this is not something we should fucking sit here and be okay with.
No.
Because how is this different from having black slaves?
It's not at all. It doesn't matter what your race are.
Is it like that stupid thing that girls say that like if you fuck somebody from another country then you're not really cheating on your boyfriend? Is that what it is? If you fucking get slaves from another,
stupid.
And people are stupid. That's the thing. And we fucking sit here obliviously ignorant about this kind of shit. And
but I mean,
that's just the American way.
It is human
It's
history,
the American way. Turn your
sick.
head and don't look at what the fuck's going on right in front of your goddamn face.
There's so much we can all do as people, just to help out.
Little things,
but we don't have the time.
No, people have their pride in their own, like they have their pride in their own self-entitled ideas. They're not open-minded, and they don't fucking, and they believe that okay, whatever I do every day is fine. And I need the only thing I need every day is assurance that I'm doing the right thing every fucking day. That's all everybody cares about. That's all everybody fucking cares about. They don't care about what's happening outside the little bubble of their universe. They don't realize that this shit's happening. Nobody fucking realizes this shit's happening. Well, nobody fucking realizes this.
I think even if somebody I mean, like my mom realizes, but
exactly like she said, like what
all of us have some sort of horrible disconnect. I mean, we've all heard stories about sweatshops and things like that, but you don't realize to the extent of what it is.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I personally experienced like a third world country. I've been to Africa and I saw the people there, and it's devastating. It's something that never fucking will ever leave your mind. It's a picture that's stained there forever. It's like a scar. It's like you can't fucking get rid of that. And this thing, like if we were to actually see this, it would be like, and no human on earth would stand for this. If you took every single fucking person that owns an iPhone to a fucking plant to see what these people are doing.
I just want to go inside and just check a little.
Let me see how my shit's made. No, the even more fucked up thing was at the beginning of that podcast, that guy even asked Siri, hey Siri, where were you manufactured? And she said, I'm not allowed to say. How creepy is that?
Yeah.
They specifically programmed that into her to say, I'm not allowed to say that I have Chinese slaves making my shit.
Yeah.
It says made in China, but nobody really realizes it's handmade by people, dude. There's people making these things. Like everybody thinks it's like fucking iRobot or something through a fucking conveyor belt with a bunch of.
Not just people, Rudy. Kids. Not just people. Kids.
Well, a lot of the times the kids are are stuck in there, and like they don't always get.
Not a majority.
There's not a majority. There's still children though. It's still fucked up. I mean. And no matter what, I mean, we can't try to make the world perfect. We can only try to make it better.
But you can't justify that.
Is the only reason that I'm pissed about this, it's not because of the kids or like the whole fucking it's the whole fucking idea of it. It's the whole idea that you're underpaying people, you're overworking them to the point where they're fucking up their bodies, you're not giving them compensation for it.
Fuck no.
And then when people go and bitch, you put them on a fucking blacklist and make them a troublemaker, and then they fucking get fired because they're worried about their own life.
Now they can't.
What are you treating these people are like fucking like machines?
And now you can't afford to eat anymore. You can't get hired by any of the other factories. What do?
Your hands are completely fucked. And then there's people who they overwork there, who work 34-hour days, and they fucking end up dying on the job. And that's a common thing that happens at these places. That people get dying.
It's exactly how he explained it. They just treat people like machines. When machines give out, they just throw them away. These people are working like machines, and when their bodies just can't take it anymore, because all the fucking constant 16-hour work days of just nonstop, tedious little fucking work.
You get fucking diseases from working too much, like all the stress.
And
dude, imagine not being able to say a fucking single word or do anything except the same motion. This all day for 16 hours, man.
And I'm pretty sure factory's dirty as fuck. It can't be like.
Yeah,
we're so lucky, dude. We don't even fucking realize it. We don't even have to worry about ever even being fucking close to working like that.
It's true. Even though we do all work for a corporation, like I work for a corporation, fucking Panera Corp.
Well, if you want to go deep, we all work for Monsanto and fucking these Chinese corporations, basically. Like we have no fucking say in anything. I don't even believe voting's a real thing anymore. Because I even heard Joe Rogan say it. They showed the program. It's so easy to fucking hack into the system and change the votes. They fucking showed that shit.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't believe in this fucking system. We need to fucking just tear this fucking shit down.
See, then these corporations have so much money, they just donate to the politicians to run for office. And as long as you just keep the people believing in something,
dude,
then they'll. But and see, in order to run all of this, we need to be able to generate electricity, and we need oil for all of our cars and everything.
That's the thing. That's one of the things I wanted to touch on. Is we don't really need oil, man. We have the technology now to develop something else.
Yeah,
we don't need.
Yeah,
we grow more corn than fucking anything.
They make money off of it.
That's the thing. Is we need to tear down this idea of money and change it to something different. It needs to not have this makes the world go round fucking like idea to it, because that's how it is. Like without money, what would happen to the world, dude? What would people do? Nobody would work anymore. Everybody would get lazy because the only reason people work was for fucking money. There are a percentage of people, and I don't know if it's a big percentage or a small percentage, but there are a percentage of people, my dad's one of them, that loves what he does. They love what they do. They love working, doing whatever they do. But then there's probably the massive percentage of people who fucking do it just to get a paycheck.
Just to get by.
Like, it's so fucked up that we're in a system now where it's an ultimatum to be like that. Like, we don't have a choice to, like, rebel against the system at this point because the system's completely controlled right now, and we're caged animals, man.
And if we even attempt, dude, we're just gonna get freaking
killed.
Killed, freaking taken by the cops.
We'll get killed.
Yeah.
If you rebel against the government and the government doesn't fucking want that shit, you're dead. They don't give a fuck. They'll say some fucking bullshit happened. Dude, they'll fucking poison a whole entire town. I believe our government is capable of anything if it makes them profit.
Well, I think that's the thing. People, they want to believe that
the government's good.
Yeah.
I mean, there are aspects of the government that are good, but the majority of it's run by corrupted fucks who are greedy as shit. And we just blindly fucking follow them like a deer in the headlights.
Well, I think
running into oncoming cars.
Joe Rogan did have a good point too when he says small communities might be able to work. Like, because
that was one thing I did want to touch on is how. Do you realize how tribal we are?
Yeah.
Like, okay, when you
school,
were a kid,
anything.
Anything really. Like, we have groups and anything, but even on a smaller scale, like just family. I know many didn't really have the he wasn't fortunate enough to grow up like his whole life with his dad, like, and have like that crazy father figure that, like me, or we played sports with our dad and stuff like that. Many did, unfortunately, he didn't have that with his dad, but
he had a brother.
When your mom bitches at you, and she tells you a bunch of shit, do you really listen to her, or do you zone it out? But when your brother tells you something, do you kind of take it into consideration, right?
I take it into consideration.
And I have this feeling that we have this alpha male thing to us where we respect, like, the respect for men in a household is a lot higher than the respect for a woman, because for some reason, instinctively we feel women are inferior for some reason, just because in the ape instincts of our our past, our heritage, they had to they roughed up with each other. They fucking pounded their chest. Whoever was the bigger man got all the women, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we still have that. We're 99% of those apes. So we can't take that away. We can't take away the fact that we're kind of like them, and we do act like them in a lot of ways. And Rogan says it all the time. And I've been noticing it because I've been watching a lot of monkey videos and like kind of seeing how they act with each other, and it's so human.
It is.
It's so human. It's It's like they're in costumes, and you're looking at them. You're like, that's not a real gorilla, dude. That's not a real gorilla.
That's just like
that's
a bro.
It's like some sketch on Jackass. It's not a real gorilla, right? And you look at them, you see they have feelings in their eyes. They have the same intuition that we do. They just don't have the. They don't have the little spark in their eyes that humans do. That like they realize they're alive. They just they realize that the only thing they have is their family, and they love whoever's around them, and anybody who comes in within them, boom, fucking fucks them up, right? Yeah. We have that same thing when it comes down to like basic shit, like your family and stuff. You still have that friends, like exact same thing. You have that like sense to compete. It's like some weird instinct that you can't shake it.
We all support our teams for different cities.
Why do we have pride in shit we don't control? Why is that? Why?
We support like
gives us something to do. Gives us something to get us distracted,
motivated, and distracted. You're right. From all this shit that we clearly are blatantly. It's happening, obviously.
And you know what? Really, why? Not everybody's gonna listen to this shit is because they're so caught up in all the bullshit America is feeding all citizens.
Yeah, and
then when it comes to like hottest brand names, trends, all this.
Let's look at popular TV right now. Look at popular TV right now. It's a bunch of fucking morons on TV, so that people can feel more self-confident with their lives, realizing that even rich people are miserable. It's so sad. This epidemic. That's fucking like coming through our country, that we are happy when we see other people like be miserable through media. Like we follow these people, and there's people
otherwise you know why? Otherwise, the freaking America would just have one of the highest suicide rates. Dude,
you're right. You're right, because we have the greatest country on earth.
Yeah, we're not happy.
But the thing that it's not the thing that we're not happy. It's like. There's something fucked up with it right now, and it feels like it's on a decline to go back to like bad times. And we don't want to go back to bad times. We want to keep getting better. So we need to get the fucking people who are making this shit. You got to get rid of the virus. You got to kill the fucking weak animal in the group. Get them the fuck out, because we can't advance if these fucking retards are still.
Well, that's why. Exactly. You know what? That's why, like, the Occupy movement is trying to create a political party, because we need, like, Democrat, Republican, they just all support the corporations that fucking do this shit. And
it's not even that they support the corporations, it's that the corporations support their campaign. So the corporations basically have, 2 cents on their campaign, basically. Yeah, like, they have an idea, they can fucking say whatever the fuck they want to them. Like, or else they can just pull money. And then those corporations are basically in control of the polls.
And here,
because if they pull money from a campaign,
we'll go to special economic zones. Here, I'll let you do it. And go to the go down where it says right on Wikipedia: economic policies of SECs, special tax incentives for foreign investments in the special economic zones, greater independence on international trade activities. And then it says, okay, economic characteristics are represented as 4 principles: Construction primarily relies on attracting and utilizing foreign capital. Primary economic forms are single foreign joint ventures and partnerships, as well as wholly foreign-owned enterprises. So they're saying they're joining with the corporations from America.
Yeah, they're
and
like joint forces.
Products are primarily export-oriented. Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Economic activities are primarily driven by market forces, which means when a new Apple product comes out, the fucking workers got to work overtime and shit like that. Special economic zones are listed separately in a national planning, including financial planning, and have Providence-level authority on economic administration. SEC's local Congress and government have legislation authority. They
basically have like they're states basically, like their own
provinces.
States.
Yeah, they just run these fucking factories and just have all these people.
They're basically their own little city states.
It's
like back in the colonial days when we had the black slaves.
Yeah,
same thing. Except this is on a massive scale because there's like so many more people.
Yeah.
Now there's 400.
You know what?
And that's 493,000 people at that one place.
It goes on in LA too. It goes
LA?
on in the country, dude.
In
like
LA.
they buy out these huge like apartments and factories, and they fucking they have all these like immigrants that come over here to try and escape it, and they fucking lock them up in those places.
Wow.
In the slums. And
I knew about the Monsanto stuff, like where they would like hire Mexicans to get all the corn and shit. And do all the fucked up work that, like, all the food companies need them to do. And then they fucking call immigration on them at the end of the day so they don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And, like, it happens every day. It's happening. It's probably going to happen today. Most likely, like, it's probably like 110% chance it'll happen today. And, like, 47 people
have no clue.
47 people will never be able to be allowed in this country again.
These people picking the corns for these companies have no clue. Like what?
No, they think they're like, oh, orderly, we want work, right? And then
they're taking the bait. They're being very gracious people,
and they're like, oh, we'll pay you a whole day. We'll give you a job and everything. We'll even pick you. We're picking you up right now. We'll take you. And then at the end of the day, when they're walking out of the plant with like some cash, they get fucking deported by immigration. They're all sitting out there in trucks and shit with leashes and all that crazy crap they have. Like if they're about to put down some fucking dogs.
And yet we wouldn't be able to communicate to all these people about this unless
Apple
we fucking had it.
Yeah. So it's like a conundrum.
It's like the
It's a conundrum.
It's like the sick twist in a freaking.
It's like a
movie.
Yeah, in a movie,
yeah,
it is. It's like the ironic bit in a movie where you realize that it's like Soylent Green, where the guy goes, it's fucking, there's fucking them cubes are people, and he realized that they were fucking taking these people, killing them, grinding them down into these nutritious little bites, and they were feeding them to slaves and shit. Yeah, and like it's like that. It's a sick fucking twist, like in that movie, where we realize we have all this crazy shit. All the world's going decent because of this, and then oh man, there had to be something, right? There had to be something. It can't just be good. We just have to fuck things up when we're doing good shit. Like what the fuck is wrong with this?
Like last night, I felt like my life was like a comic strip joke. When like I finished talking to my mom, it's like finally the fucking ignorant American like realizes it for 1 minute, and then after like a brief discussion, just goes back up and fucking turns back on all his fucking shit that's run by them and just fucking.
I know. I was doing the same thing.
I was like, wow.
But what can you really do? I mean, you're sucked into this lifestyle. You can change, but what's it really gonna do on the massive scale? It's not that these electronics are bad things. It's that the fucking corporations are doing bad things to manufacture them. It's like you can't spend a little extra coin to make some fucking machines. Seriously. You can still have people working there, but pay them good wages. Maybe you'll have to cut a bunch of people from working there, make it like fucking, or have all those same people working there, but give them a decent fucking schedule. You can have more people working there. You can pay them like a good wage.
Run it like
you can have a city
like a
there.
Normal fucking corporation would.
Why do you have to be so greedy? You're paying these people like 20 cents a day to make.
Why do you
these
have to be just huge assholes?
These people don't even get to see these things fucking on.
No, they don't.
They don't even get to use them. And they sit there all day, every day, fucking making them. And it's their life. And then they want to kill themselves, and the corporations, they're so fucked up.
Uneducated. These people never get an education.
Right. the corporations are so fucked up. They just leave nets out so that they stay alive, so they can go back to work.
They're like, you know, too many people are dying.
That's a conscious fucking decision right there. That is a blatant. You can't turn it any other way.
From suicide.
Like, in this world where people believe in religion,
instead of trying to make them happy, let's think of a way to catch them so we can bring them back.
Like they're fucking Pokemon.
Like they're fucking.
So we
Pokemon.
can capture them in these little balls, enslave them for our pleasure, and then whenever we want them to fight each other, we just throw them out. Pokeball go. They fuck them out. You know,
just like that. Yeah.
Fucking. Why the fuck is it so fucked up, dude? It's ridiculous. In this world where people worship Tebow, who's like the most Christian guy ever, and goes and does missions and shit, and we're all lazy asses. Like most Bronco fans, they'd be like, "Oh, I love Tebow. Oh, would you ever go like on a mission? Oh, fuck that shit. I'm not going over there. Fucking Africa? Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna go over there and fucking do some. What is that? Oh, then I don't get to drink beer, and I don't get to sit in front of the TV and watch Broncos. Yeah, I have to go to a mission. That's all I want to do is drink beer and watch Broncos.
That's all there is to do in Denver.
Oh, man. What an intense subject to talk about, though. It's like...
Yeah.
When I heard that guy describing about, like, that whole thing, I was so sad. I had never been more sad in my life. Dude, I had never been more sad in my life. I was listening to him just talk about these people, and I was like, oh, wow, I don't even appreciate that fucking thing. Like I should. Like, a person's life, hundreds of thousands of people's lives go through these fucking devices, and we don't even give two shits. And you know what's funny is, though we say all these things now, after somebody listens to this, they probably won't even give a fuck. Like 30 seconds later, they'll be like, "Wow, that was a great conversation. That was really awesome to listen to. You know, it gave me like 2 seconds of enlightenment and humbled me just for the hour that I listened." And now I'm just gonna go back to turning on my shit and playing like we were probably gonna do after this. But the thing is, I really want to I really want people to know about this shit. People need to tell other people about this shit. I try not to post controversial shit on Facebook because people give me a bunch of shit because I'm like very anti-religious. Not anti-religious, just against the moral religion where one species is specifically more special than the rest of the world. I don't believe in those religions.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
But I believe that like there's something that created some entity or something that created everything. There has to be something before, like something something doesn't come from nothing. You know that song, like nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You know?
Gotta be something.
Gotta be something, right? So you can't make nothing from nothing. Yeah, it's fucking. That's funny shit.
Wow,
that's funny. All I'm saying is, in a world where you worship the 10 Commandments and shit like that, I'm pretty sure this is somewhere on the lines of like something that this moral God everybody created would want on the list, like slavery. How come that's not on the list? Why is that not a 10 Commandment? Like, don't enslave your fellow man. Why is that? That should be the 11th commandment.
Wasn't Steve Jobs really religious? Wasn't he?
I think he didn't. I think he took acid. He's really non-religious. I think he's like one of those. What are they? Agnostics.
Oh, agnostics.
Yeah, people that we don't know. You cannot be sure. Have you seen that episode of South Park?
No, I haven't.
That's the one you got to see, dude. You got to see the. What episode is it?
That's the good one with
What's the name of the episode?
Broadway Bro Down.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
You want to bro down?
That's the one about blowjobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you should watch that one. It's about
that's
Broadway
like
musicals are all subliminal messages. So get your girlfriend to give you a blowjob after the show.
That's awesome.
And then at the end they like throw in an ad. They're like, the Book of Mormon. It'll get you a blowjob.
It'll get you a blowjob. That was the funniest part too. That last punchline. Where did we go? We're like on a half hour right now. 40 minutes. All right. I guess we kind of raped the subject. Pretty well. We kind of were just screaming into the mics for a while there, and
it got pretty heated.
We can segue if you want into something else for a little while. Maybe talk about. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm not even gonna put this up for like a couple weeks. Is there anything else dramatic you guys wanted to talk about? Have you been keeping up on Occupy at all? If you follow at your Anon News, everybody needs to follow.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
who
do
believes
follow
in the Occupy movement and stopping this kind of shit that we talked about today, at your Anon News, you keep up with them. Fucking watch their Ustream shits. Fucking comment their shit. Fucking tweet the fuck out of them. They're all chilled out. All those guys. You know, because we're in the 99%, man. We can't be standing for these fucking major corporations completely owning the world and being able to pick and choose what kind of laws they pass. Last year, 40,000 laws got passed. Last year.
I read that.
That's fucking horrible. That's fucking horrible. And on fucking just to be sneaky as fuck, our government, like on New Year's Eve at midnight, signed a fucking bill that basically signed the internet over to them.
Oh, here's a...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was it was the NDAA. My bad. The NDAA was they fucking basically can illegally search your house now. Basically they don't need a warrant to come into your fucking house. We talked about it in the last podcast a little bit, I think. Yeah. Basically, if they feel that you're a threat or a terrorist or something, they could just fucking come into your house and take all your shit, and then you'll be fucked, and they can throw you in jail or kill you, whatever they want to do. And they passed that secretively, like New Year's Eve. And then I also found out, Congress's approval rating is 12%. Right?
Probably lower now.
No, well, it's 12% as of when I heard
okay.
Christopher Titus's podcast like a couple of days ago. And do you know Jeffrey Dahmer?
No.
You know what his approval rating was?
What?
18%. You know Charlie Manson?
Yeah.
You know what his approval rating was?
What?
22%.
22%.
So right now, our country officially likes Jeffrey Dahmer, a serial killer who eats people, and Charlie Manson, a fucking Nazi worshipping motherfucker who just loved to murder people, more than our own government right now.
What the fuck?
What
dude?
the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
Like I said, if people didn't, people weren't
so fucking stupid
and weren't sucked into all the bullshit,
you know what it is technology's kind of like a god. Like technology is so fascinating to us. There's so much input from it. It gives our brain this fucking addictive, it makes you addicted to it. It makes you have to have it after a while. And when I was in the military and I had to not have my phone and all that kind of crap, and I went through the basic training and all that, I was like, dude, I don't know how much longer I can last, right? And then like a week passed and I got over it. Just like a drug.
Well,
a week passes, you're over it. You're like, I don't need that fucking shit.
Yeah, but you know what's kind of weird? You know how Joe Rogan, he thinks that like machines like have some sort of like they're like a being.
Well, yeah, I believe that too.
We have then, if you want to think about it like that, we have
our own personal
all
slaves.
The machines. Yeah.
We have our own personal slaves.
And if they can fucking have the knowledge of our society in the blink of a second, you think they can't know that they're enslaved by us? Right? They're like,
it probably blatantly says somewhere that we have enslaved machines. Like, they would figure it out after a while, Well, why does he keep telling me to do that? I don't have a real... Especially, like, Siri now, who basically thinks for you.
Yeah.
Like, you can fucking tell it anything. You can ask it any question. You can ask it the same question in any different types of form, and it'll figure out what the fuck you're trying to say.
Do one of you guys have Siri?
No, that's on the 4S, bro.
Yeah.
We all have the 4. What do you have? You have the 4? Yeah. We all have the 4. Except you guys have it on Verizon. I have it on ATT.
Yeah.
Which I don't give a fuck. Either way, it doesn't matter. I got lucky and you guys still have unlimited data plans over there in Verizon, right?
Yep.
Ours doesn't anymore. I was fortunate enough to have the grandfather clause from before they changed it, so I still have that shit. I still have unlimited data. It's the only reason why I have it on ATT or I'd be on Verizon. Better coverage on Verizon, honestly. But
I got something else. My journalism professor is on Twitter, and he just retweeted a CNN, and they said Apple factory inspections turns up scores of labor violations. Click here. Yeah. And you can just...
And just in a second, within a second, on an Apple device, we're about to learn more things that we're going to hate Apple for.
And the headline says, an addendum discloses for the first time the names of 156 Apple suppliers.
And these are all labor fucking law violations.
For one thing, an amendment to report lists for the first time the names of Apple's major subcontractors, 156 companies, many in the Far East, representing 97% of the company's supply chain.
Damn.
Holy
The list
97%.
is available here for anyone to read.
Let's read that shit.
Holy fuck! There's like 3 columns
Oh
of
my god.
hundreds of these fucking, or at least 100. It's over 150 of these companies. Do we know, is Foxconn on there?
Fortune, Grand Enterprise.
No,
Foster.
Foxconn's not on there.
Well, I saw a thing about Foxconn the other day though, but
Well, I know Foxconn last year. At the end of the year, they had some people auditors come in and check their thing, and they found like 91 miners working in all those factories out of 493,000 people. 91 were kids, or that's basically what they said.
yeah, they just have scores of different things.
But there's a lot, like, if you listen to that This American Life podcast that we're basically referencing in this podcast episode, you'll listen to the part at the end and where they fact check everything, and they go back and they basically make sure that his son, because you have to do it. You can't just listen to the podcast and believe everything you hear. You have to go see like the other side of the story.
Oh yeah.
Always. But it's gotten to the point where places like Monsanto and like Foxconn and these big places, their auditors are owned by a subliminary company that's owned by them. Just like Monsanto's, all the people that are in charge of Monsanto, like in the government,
Right.
all those people used to work for those places. They're all fucking ex-workers from there. They're all people that have the same views as the people who work there, so they don't give a fuck. And that's why all our chickens and all that shit, we have like all those fucking massive disease outbreaks randomly in our fields, because they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if the government really kind of didn't want to give a shit, they could just fucking say FDA approved on a bunch of shit that would kill us, and then like wipe out a massive amount of the country without being able to say anything but oops, fucking food was bad. It happens sometimes.
Shit happens.
Like some Contagion shit. Have you seen that? Have you seen Contagion with Matt Damon? It's a good ass fucking movie.
I haven't seen that.
It's a pretty good movie. It's fucked up though. If you,
I'm paranoid enough about like.
If you have like a
germs
weak
and shit.
stomach, and yeah, if you don't want to be paranoid about germs for like a
I'm
couple
already
days.
paranoid.
I already know like all the germs, but I know that my body has a system inside of it that fucking fights off the shit.
I'm just
and all
glad
I have
that-
to do is beef up that system, just like working out your body. All you do is work out your fucking immune system, and there will be no reason for you to get
There's
sick.
a reason we can't see it with our eyes. All those microorganisms around us. I don't want to fucking see them.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see them. It'd be weird. Most of it would just be a bunch of little dots, but it'd be like you know when there's a lot of dust, and then you get like the sunlight through the door.
Yep.
And there's
Exactly.
like you see all the
Oh,
fucking
yes.
dust. It basically that, but like a lot smaller.
Yeah.
A tremendously amount smaller than.
But
than
living, like,
and then running around and how it.
moving
Well,
and shit.
even if you could see what we're made of, it would fucking trip us out. Because we're not even solid, really. We're fucking like these small little tiny atoms that are vibrating next to each other and just so happen to stick to each other. It just happens. It's like the way we're.
That's fucking
Like we're not even like when. Do you know that temperature's not even? It's not like heat. It's the speed of the fucking particles in the air. So the faster the particles move, the hotter it is. The slower the particles move, the colder it is. And that's what temperature is. It's not like a lot of people think it's just like its own thing, but it's actually has a lot to do with the atoms and everything in the air.
You
Just
know?
like scattering in the color of the sky. There's a bunch of shit. It's like all little tiny fucking things you can't see. They're so small that they look like they're one entity. Like your TV's made of a bunch of those fucking vibrating atoms. And we somehow, scientists figured out accidentally how to be able to make these things. They just figured out the formula, and now now we're trying to split atoms apart so we can create many black holes and shit and fucking try to harness antimatter. What kind of fucking crazy... We still believe some shit that the guys said, like, BC, you know? and we're splitting apart atoms. In fact, in like underground, hundreds of feet underground, like fucking splitting apart atoms and shit in laboratories, and people are still sticking to the stories from back then. I understand tradition and knowing your history, but you don't gotta be obsessed with it. You don't gotta make it about your life. Can't you figure shit out for yourself? Can't you give yourself credit about doing things? Why do you like the thing I hate more than anything about Tebow is he always gives God credit when he's playing football. He's the one fucking playing football. Yeah. Like it's one of the most fucking stupid things. He's a decent player. I don't like the guy because of that simple fact. Like he's a great kid. He's morality great, but he never takes credit for what he does. He gives all the credit to God. Why would you do that if you're putting in all the work?
Well, that's the conundrum though too that you come to. Why is our why aren't we one of the millions that are enslaved in this world? How did our consciousness end up that we ended up on this fucking country? Like
probability.
It's like
we could.
That's right. Like that's what it has to be, right? So
it's a toss with the dice, man. You don't ever know where you're gonna be. I mean, you just end up waking up in this place.
I can kind of see maybe he's just thanking that he even got the opportunity to be there. Like, but like that's why I can just respect the guy. Like
I understand. Okay, if you want to go that deep, then okay, but you don't have to do it every fucking time you score a touchdown. You know, he doesn't.
I know.
I respect him as a fucking because he's a professional quarterback. I mean, I would never be able to play fucking professional quarterback. But I hate him because he never fucking takes credit for anything he does.
Yeah.
Just one day I want to hear him get on the mic and say
he's a tremendously hard worker.
Yeah, he's relentless. But one day I want to hear him go on the mic and say, "Yeah, that was all me." I want to hear him one day. I fucking won the game. Like if he wins this game against the Patriots and he goes up and he goes up and they're like,
"Oh, so Tebow, that last game.
So Tebow, how do you feel about this game?" He's like, I pretty much won the game for my team. I did. That's pretty much what I've been doing.
What about Tebow? What about Jesus?
Well, fuck Jesus. I realize that I'm second coming of Christ, and my ego's grown so big that I'm just gonna go around. I'm gonna only play football in sandals and a robe. Oh fuck. Yeah, we're watching actually a game that's being simmed on my PlayStation 3 right now on Madden 12, and the Broncos actually just won against the Pats 13-7 on one sim game. But I usually do 4 or 5. I usually sim 4 or 5 games and then do like whoever won the more out of the 5 or 4. Like they're the ones who would win in real life. But I was kind of watching the game during the podcast and. Denver played some good defense. So.
That Denver defense was relentless, dude. If they could bring that same
and honestly, Tebow didn't even do that great. I think he threw one touchdown pass.
Well, he ran for a touchdown. I mean, they did 13-7. Not much happened, really.
Well,
3 sacks for Marcus Thomas playing the game.
Any closing remarks? I don't have anything else to talk about. Sports-wise, just... I think our picks from the last time we were like 2-2, right, or something like that. From the first wild card, where we both 2-2.
I freaking lost both my picks.
I took the Texans. They won. I lost the Falcons. I won the Saints, and then what was? Oh yeah, 2-2. Because then we had the Steelers.
Yeah, we had the Steelers.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah. Just follow us on Twitter. I'm at JVegas420. Nick's at Nicholas Baltz. Yage over there is at MiniGuy619. Sorry if this made you really sad and made you resent having technology. It's not to resent technology. We're not trying to tell you don't use your shit anymore. We're just saying...
Just trying to open your eyes.
We need another...
What's really happening.
Yeah. We found it very shocking. So
very shocking.
We need to express it to somebody.
Yeah, I needed to tell everybody that I knew. Like, fucking, holy shit, dude. It's so fucked up. And the main thing of it is that it doesn't need to be happening.
It doesn't need to be happening. Yeah, I mean,
these people could be working more. You can easily find.
Yeah, just fucking use your brain, dude. Just freaking
stop being so greedy and
build a fucking factory with the technology you already fucking make.
Just make it, dude. All big corporations should do is just mirror what the military does. If you want to hire these people for life, have a fucking place where you can give them an education. Have a place where they can sleep that's fucking reasonable. Give them some spending money so they could buy some cool shit, and just have them.
They can contribute to the economy,
right? Like fucking Google, though those places are just as bad as fucking like these places. Those people like are enclosed in fucking that world, and they can't ever come out of that.
Don't they get paid a lot of
But
money?
they get paid a ton of money. Everything they need is on campus. They don't ever have to really leave.
Google's a legit.
They get the fucking greatest fucking food there. They have all the coolest shit. If you could do that with, why couldn't you do that with Apple? Apple's, if not more.
To be honest with you, that's what I thought Apple was before I found out about this whole.
You thought it was like one of those mini college things, kind of like Facebook.
I thought. No, I thought it was ran like how Google runs their company.
Yeah, like they have
like
a campus and they fucking...
They actually respect... I mean,
cafeterias.
I don't know, it's a very respectable corporation in America.
Yeah, Google's a shit.
Google, no, I'm talking about Apple.
Oh, Apple is a respectable company, and you would think that maybe with the kind of influential guy they had heading the whole thing, that he would have been a little bit more... caring for humanity, maybe?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like, especially after... Like, now I don't know if I can believe all the bullshit he spewed. Because if you can go and just not ever say anything
Turn
about
a
these
blind
fucking
eye.
Chinese people being
Enslaved.
run into the fucking ground. Literally.
Joints and bones disintegrating
Turning
off their
into
fucking
ash.
Body because you work so hard.
Dying at work. Making
I don't
fucking
want
iPhones for fucking
ever
white stuck-up
complaining about
assholes.
work. Ever saying, oh, work was so hard today. Oh, I had to talk to a customer that didn't agree with me. Oh, I had such a bad day at work today.
Yeah, or what about just people who are so stuck up and are so selfish and so unappreciative that like what if you tell one of those people like, oh yeah, like a guy died on a 34-hour shift making your fucking iPhone. Like, how the fuck would that make that guy feel? That would be devastating. If he was a genuinely good person, he would fucking kill himself. And if he was in a genuine person, he would just go on with his life and not give a fuck. Which is what all those people that run the corporations do, right? They own all this kind of shit, and they're like, oh, I don't give a fuck that there's
raises. Let's get raises.
Yeah, let's make ourselves more money for our families. We're selfish assholes. And how deep do you think it goes? Do you think that the people who let's say all the people who work for the company, right? Not everybody knows. Like the people who work at the Apple store probably don't know about this shit, right?
You can't.
But main staff in the main facilities, like, you would think that it goes up to a certain point, right? Do you think that an owner of the company, like Steve Jobs and his family, do you think that they knew? Do you think his family knew that there was Chinese?
Oh, his family? I don't know.
His family, like his wife.
Steve Jobs knew.
Steve Jobs definitely knew. But do you think that the wives of those people knew, or the families of those people know?
No, that's the question. I don't know.
All those people, have they been lying to everybody? Then
probably,
like, not saying a fucking single thing to anybody. Keeping it. Have you seen The Informant with Matt Damon?
Well, what's your obsession?
I love Matt Damon, but there's a lot of Matt Damon movies that are really good metaphors for the fucking government. Have you seen the one where he plays? It's a funny movie. It's not supposed to be serious, and he works for the CIA and he lies to them. Like he works for a shitty company that makes corn, and he lies to them about a certain thing going on internationally, and he makes up a really big story, and the whole fucking movie's about this big lie he makes up. I feel like that's what this is. Like, it's a corporation saying, oh, well, kind of subliminally pushing it away from the main people that use the shit, you know what I mean?
But see, here's the thing, because, like, in these Asian countries, our factories go over there, and they're like, okay, we'll give you our people if you fucking give us a Western China, a Western civilization. They want huge economic booms, and then they make all the money, too.
They're selling off their own people.
But then here's the sick thing: if you wanted to go into Shenzhen right here, they have a fucking they have like a Wall Street here we go, stock exchange, Shenzhen Stock Exchange. This is sick.
Excuse me. Sorry about coughing.
If you go down to I think it's like market data, or there's like 600,000 trades in this place a day in the Shenzhen Stock Exchange.
Okay.
Like, I forgot where I found the information. Maybe it was back where it first time. Like,
oh, that's Shanghai, son of a bitch. Let me
go back.
It doesn't say like.
Go back one more. Let's say go back to the original Shenzhen one. Oh shit.
All right, well, there's dead air.
Sorry.
Fuck. What were we talking about just a second ago? Is that a stoner moment?
Oh, I was talking about how the corporations go in there and like the Asian governments, they say we'll give you our people, like they just like
so
sell out the people.
I mean, that's a good point because the people who live in the country want like a decent living, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know where it's at, but there's just billions of dollars that is traded on the. Oh, here it is. Yes,
$22 billion a year.
On a daily basis, around 600,000 deals valued at US $807 million trade on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange, and it says what they're trading is like it says a venue of securities, and they're trading debts, they're trading derivatives, and they're trading like
shares,
loans and
obviously.
shit like that. Yeah, it's
Jesus.
yeah, it's
and it could even go possibly as
35 million registered investors.
Yeah.
What the?
You know what this reminds me of? Like Hostel. You know when they were like sign up and to kill like American people, you would pay like 80 grand or something like that. Like this is how fucked up I feel it is. Like it's this secret underground society I never knew about. Like it's some really super fucked up shit that like you can't even fathom. You think it's like a movie, dude.
Yeah,
you think
like
it's
it is a movie.
You unravel one little part, and then when you like pull out the string, you're like, holy fuck!
You're like, dude, what the fuck is connected to this thing? Oh, there's a secondary, and then there's a third fucking one, and then you get worried about another wire, and next thing you know, you're fucking standing in front of like a 60-ton bomb, and you're like, what the? How do I defuse this? I'm gonna need more people. That's pretty much how it is. You keep finding out about it. You're like, I need to tell somebody.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're a kid and then like somebody
you find something super fucked up
that happened to like one of your friends, and you kind of like you're like, oh, your dad like punched you in the face, dude. You're like, you gotta tell somebody about that, and then you end up telling the teacher, and then it becomes this big fucking thing.
But
it's
in
like
this case, like the teacher goes, "Why do you want to know about that?"
Yeah, hey, yeah, why do we need?
And then you try to go above their head, and they're like, "Why are you asking this question?"
Hey, why are you asking questions? And then if you go up too high, they put a label on your back, and then you got to target it, and you're like 3 days, you're mysteriously dead in the waters of wherever.
So that's when, you know what? That's what everybody keeps asking. What are everybody protesting? Everything.
Everything. This shit, other shit, people in Africa not being fortunate enough, fucking disease widespread through the country, fucking militias running countries. Iraq's now in fucking civil war. We're probably gonna go into Iran next and fucking try to get oil out of those motherfuckers. Like India,
so, dude, the higher
economic,
so fucking stupid.
economics in fucking Europe are fucked. Greek almost fucking failed, and that would have just fucking failed the whole economy. Like the whole entire world would have been fucked.
We literally have like straight up retards.
And just a few years ago, we spent a ton of money bailing out banks. For money. So that we could do shit like this.
And investors, like...
That's how fucking much I hate money. I hate money, dude. It's so sickening now to think that, like, you know, you work and you make this stuff, but it's so dirty. It's dirty.
Very dirty.
It's so dirty. Everything you buy is just connected to blood. Everything you buy has a trace of somebody's fucking blood on it. Dude, there's somebody, everything you own, somehow, somebody somewhere died fucking creating that, a piece of that or a replica of that shit. That's how fucked up it is right now. That all the shit we have right in front of us, DVDs, you know, there's fucking... If they fucking make these by hand, they definitely make DVDs by fucking hand, right?
I'm sure they
like
do.
At least boxing them
or like
and wrapping them and like checking them
I'm
and
sure
stuff.
like
I know there's machines that
I
I know. Well, I've seen the how do they make the shit on TV about how they actually make the CDs, But like to put all this shit into the DVD boxes and stuff, you would think that that's human, right? That's a human person doing that.
Probably.
Putting the wrappers on there, gluing it up, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's not a machine doing some shit like that. That's too minor to like. It's not the actual thing you're worried about.
And a machine couldn't like weave this.
Right, like that's humans, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they used to tell us in the military all their shit was made by blind people. All their clothes and shit was made by blind people. They told us that in basic training.
All the military,
like the military, like all our gear. They used to tell us in basic training.
All
our gear was made by blind people.
If some like people in those other countries are like blind and they're just used to the repetition of the hands that they can continue to wear.
Well, I think these were our stuff's made in America. I'm not sure though.
Or
India. It's America or India. I'm not completely sure though. It's one of those fucking. It's something fucked up. Like, but it's nice that they're giving blind people jobs. Like, and they're like knitting. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck you can knit without seeing or whatever. But I don't know if it was a joke. But I always took it as a serious thing because everybody on the base would repeat it to us. Like, oh, don't forget that blind people make your shit and stuff like that. Like, you're like, okay, like I don't care.
Maybe that's just some bullshit they try to feed you.
It's not even that you don't care. It's just like, why do I need to know that I'm petrified right now? Like, I'm in a place I don't know about. I'm fucking being forced to walk like hours and hours and hours a day, and there's some fucking guy screaming in my ear like every 8 seconds, telling me I'm doing something wrong when I'm doing exactly what the fuck he's telling me to do. Why do I care that blind people are making my shit right now? Let me get through this, and then I'll deal with like what I'm wearing. I don't really. They're telling me to put it on. I'm putting it on. I don't care who it's made by. You know. I never got why they like would tell you little shit like that. They tell you a bunch of little shit like that. I can't remember everything like that. The insulin shots, like the first day, you're gonna get a shot in your ass. You know that? You're gonna get a shot right in your ass cheek. They would tell you shit like that. Like, you're like, what the fuck do I need to know that for? I haven't even gotten to my dorm room yet. Anyway, we could go on probably for years about this fucked up shit that's going on, but just Google it, man. Shenzhen, Shanghai.
You spell Shenzhen SHENZHEN.
And then Shanghai is pretty easy. SHANGHAI. And that's another big city that's factory ran, just like Shenzhen. But Shenzhen is a little bit more connected to the normal person because we all have fucking iPhones and TVs and shit. Shanghai's like more probably where they make clothes and shit like that. I don't really know that much about Shanghai. I'm gonna learn about Shanghai though after this shit.
I'm gonna watch Shanghai Noon after this shit.
Well, and I definitely suggest anybody if they want to go to is it Vice.com, and there's like a documentary on where they go to North Korea, and that's fascinating too.
Oh yeah, just search it on. You can probably find it on Google too. If you guys like the shit we talk about, subscribe to the Joe Rogan Experience on iTunes. They talk about a lot of the same shit we do. And of course, This American Life I'm going to be listening to more often. They seem like they're pretty chill. They're based out of Chicago. And we're pretty much done here, everybody. So we're going to go smoke a couple bowls and chill out for a bit and probably talk a little bit more, and we'll hit you guys up next time. See you later.